Today we're going to be doing a tag by Emily Bourne, or Bourne. I'm not entirely sure how to say her last name, so I do apologize. And I will link to her original video because she's going to explain this far better than I could. But basically, she's created these lists of different characteristics for creating a character, and you pick each one at random and create a character off of it, and possibly a short story if you're feeling up to it. So we're going to do that today. I have a hat to put the characteristics in because my mug is currently occupied. So let's start. Okay, so our options for the personality of our character are bubbly, which, to be honest, I'm kind of hoping I don't get. I don't write a lot of bubbly characters. Probably should try, but curious, which I'm kind of meh on. I mean, in a way, shouldn't your character or every person be curious about something? But again, I could give or take. I wouldn't be upset by it. Sullen, which, you know what? That one I could do. That would be the best option for me. And ignorant, which, to be honest, I'm not sure if I could write. I don't think I've ever written any characters that would truly qualify as ignorant, so I'm not entirely sure how I would go about that. But now, let's see. What have we got? What have we got? Not luck. Let's see. And we have, for personality, curious. Oh, I don't know if you can see that. Probably not. But curious. Interesting. Possibly can work with this. So, our next trait is their quirk. What makes them unique? Our first option is their eye twitches when they get angry. I could live with that. That's a pretty normal quirk. I actually know people that's the case, so it's not that it would not be that difficult for me to work that in. Next, we have their ears turn red when they lie. I could work with that. Even with a curious personality, there is a distinct chance they're going to lie about something. It's a workable. Next, taps foot when nervous. Now that could be an interesting one to work with because depending on the setting, that could be really out of place or really inappropriate, especially if they're somewhere where you've got to be still or silent. That could be an interesting one to work with. Finally, we have twirls their hair around their finger to flirt. Honestly, the only reason I don't want to get this one is I typically write male characters, and unless their hair is really long, there's not much there to twirl. And it just means writing out of my comfort zone in writing a female or a much longer haired male character, which either way. So, shaky, shaky. Let's see what we've got. Can I even grab one? That would be the first. Okay, we have two of them stuck together. Okay. That one. Of course. I got twirls their hair around their finger to flirt. Well, I guess there's going to be some flirting going on with this character. Of course. Next, we have their fears. Now, we all know every good character's got one. But to be honest, looking at these, I'm not entirely sure with what I have that I'm gonna know how to incorporate these. So our first fear is bats. I would actually be okay with that because I could probably still spin it toward a more supernatural theme, which would be more in my comfort zone. But next we have metallic objects. I'm not sure how I would work that, but I think it would be probably one of the more interesting ones. Next we have cotton candy. That would take this in a whole weird direction that I'm not entirely sure I could do, but it would be fun. And finally we have sailboats. This one I actually think I could do something with, so that's the one I'm hoping to get. Now, having said that, I'll probably get cotton candy or something, but the sailboat would be the one I'd prefer. So mix it, and we pull something, get my hand on something. We have, oh yay, we got sailboats. Yes, I can do something with that. I have an idea, sort of, vaguely. Okay, next we have their aspirations. And I'll tell you right now, there's one that I want to get, although it would be really cliche, because it would fall right into my ballpark. So their first aspiration could be to climb the Himalayas. I could probably work with it, but I am not a very outdoorsy person. I don't know. I would require research to actually write a story that involved that. Next is to be a world-class surgeon. This is the one I want. This is the one I could definitely twist. Specifically into a vampire thing. If any of you watch K-dramas and have seen Blood, it's about a vampire who's also a surgeon. And the dynamic of that is really interesting, and I think I could definitely twist what I've got into something vampiric if I got this. So this is the one I'm hoping to get. Next, to become a famous trumpet player. This is distinctly one I don't want to get. One, I no offense to anyone out there who likes or plays the trumpet, but it's not my instrument of choice. I don't like it. I don't know anything about playing it. There is definitely research that would need to be done for me to do anything with it. Finally, the other aspiration is to own a home. I could do this one. It would just, in my opinion, make a more kind of meh story. So hopefully I don't get that one either. Okay, let's be real. I just want the surgeon one so I can write a vampire thing. Shake, shake, shake. Shake it. And we have... Yes! We got the surgeon one. Yes! Yay! Okay, and finally we have their financial situation. This is where things are going to get interesting because the first one is bankrupt. That could throw a wrench in my plans. It could. Maybe not. We'd have to see. Next we have works 2 jobs to make ends meet. I could make that work. It would definitely change my plans a little bit with this character, but I could make it work. Has family money. That would be perfect. That would probably make this a lot easier, but without the guarantee that I'm gonna get it. Finally, we have won $1 million from the lottery. That could be interesting to play the dynamic of, because if any of you know about the lottery, it doesn't just come to you. Or if you get the money, you have to pay taxes on it. You have to pay a bunch of stuff on it. So what you end up with isn't exactly $1 million, but it could be interesting to play with the dynamic of a bunch of people and such. So let's see what we get. What does the hat want me to play with today for money? Hey, we pulled one. And we pulled works 2 jobs to make ends meet. That could be interesting. Yeah, definitely interesting. Hat! Okay, I dropped you to a lower angle so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Not really, but I am in the process of getting a tripod, so you should be able to see everything much better after I get that. But for now, we do what we can. Now, to create this character, I always like to start with a general idea of who they are. Obviously we have that, sort of. I think just for the sake that everyone always thinks of this act as being a feminine trait, we are going to go the route of the long-haired guy. So let's see. Let's do pale blue. That's fun. So this is going to be a male. If I were to go full story, it would probably be a vampire story, but this particular character would be human. So they're a male human. Now, because they're curious, normally I would go through a rather long process of figuring out a name for them, something that reflects the fact that they are curious. Since right now we're just kind of throwing something together real quick, I'm just gonna pick, and well, the other part is, where would I like this to be set? Because that's going to be a big part of that. For the sake of simplicity, I think we're going to set it in either the US or England. US would be easier and quicker for me because I obviously already know a large portion of the practices going on here. So if we want to go American, male, long hair, curious, from somewhere where they'd have sailboats because he's afraid of them, let's go with Matthew. Don't ask me why, that's just the name I'd like to go with today. I'll worry about a last name later if I do actually get a full, a short story going. So we have Matthew. Since he works 2 jobs, he's probably either rather young or taking care of other people. I think I'm going to go on the young route. Which way would you say that? I think I've always said route. Anyway, and I think I'm going to place him at 25-ish. Now, he wants to be a surgeon, a world-class surgeon, so he has to be going to school. So he's definitely in medical school. He has no family or siblings, so he doesn't have anyone to support him. Maybe one of his teachers is the vampire? That could be interesting. And that would play back into what I was saying about blood, because here's the thing. You can take inspiration by doing something like that, as long as you're not direct ripping off of something, because trust me, someone's thought of the vampire surgeon before. It wasn't just them. But that's a whole nother thing, and if you want me to get into the difference of copying and inspiration, I can do that. I'm not an expert, trust me, but as someone who is inspired by a lot of things, I could probably talk at length about it. So we're going to go with his teacher, or one of his teachers is a vampire. But the question is, how would he find out? Because that would be a big part of it. That's a really good question. But I see that I'm kind of running out of time in this video, and it is running rather long. So if you'd like to see me work more on this and figure this whole thing out, let me know. I would be more than willing to work through this, and I imagine it'd be a good way of seeing how I kind of work my way through creating a story. If you'd like to see more of Matthew, let me know, and I'll see you next time. Bye!